I'd watch 3 hours of you miserable in a desert forgetting how to use a lightsaber. That sounds really entertaining to me, actually.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dyson. This week I'm joined by fellow Bafflegabbers, Ian Whittington. Hello. And Deneé Hughes. We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well. Hi, guys.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Good to see ya.
Why so sinister?
Why so sinister?
Yeah.
You think I sound sinister?
You sounded super duper sinister.
Oh no, you're prompting him.
There we go. Deneé saw it coming before I did. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Sorry, I'll go back to normal now.
Yep.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're
It's
welcome.
just frustrating because I have wanted that board so fucking long. And you have it.
And I have it.
And I'm jealous and I'm angry about it. And I think that so yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stop that then. I don't want to make you actively angry.
Any more than you already have.
It's just a representation of just all the shit that's just not aligning correctly for me these days. Like, if things were right, I would have been the first one to have that fucking board. Me!
Me! That's who should have it. Me! Well, you don't, and I do, and that means we're going to continue on the show.
Worst older brother ever.
Let's kick it off by getting into this inside scoop.
What's he building in there?
I've got a secret.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sitting them, how we felt about the stuff we are sitting in general, kicking it off in commercial sins world with Arby's / Old Spice, Ultimeat Dreams.
You can do the voice. We've got the meat sweats. You can do it with the voice, the voice changing thing.
Which voice? I don't know. Which one should it be?
Have you not seen the commercial? It's really deep voice.
A deep voice.
Meat sweats.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I have that one loaded up. So
Yeah, he
Wait,
doesn't have
the one you
the
just
meat
used.
sweats.
You just don't have Ving Rhames doing a deep voice. Close enough.
It's not what you wanted.
Yeah. See, I don't think it's perfect. Anyways, the video itself is perfect, though. Written by Mr. Ian Whittington. What are some of your thoughts on how all this came together?
Oh, I just immediately had to do this. Like was it Jonathan or Daniel that posted it in our group? I think it was Daniel. Anyway, he posted it, and we just, guys, what's going on? All of us were like, hey, what is going on? This is so weird.
What is this? Yeah.
It's such a bizarre team up, and my favorite sin that sums it up is like a claw. I had to ask you what an American cleaning product was because I was going to use an English one, and I was like, oh, you guys probably don't know what Flash is. But yeah, it's like them teaming up with a spicy food and looking after the wrong thing, and it's having to shoehorn a reason behind why they've teamed up is amazing. But I guess that's the whole joke, isn't it? It's deliberately random. Yeah. I think Arby's is getting the better deal because they're attaching to the Old Spice chap and the popularity of those commercials. And I don't know another brand that's attaching themselves to the popularity of the Old Spice commercials for comedic intent or content. It's definitely not us. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to write on and getting some recurring jokes as well, like the narrator getting pissed off at the Old Spice whistle again.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I loved that. It's interesting as a concept because it's not the first time companies have done this. Like, there's been other team-ups as far back as I can remember, like Energizer Bunny. Like, was this thing that, like, the first they did the Energizer Bunny keeps going and going, but then the thing was, like, it would actually interrupt other actual commercials eventually. So yeah, it's something that has been done, but it's just weird to me. Anytime it happens, I'm just like, my brain short circuits. I don't know what to do with the information.
I just want to know who's getting paid what to do this. Is it a mutual thing? Did they just split the bill in half? Or it's strange because this is an Arby's commercial. This is definitely them in the lead. So I imagine they maybe paid a bit more. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great though. Like to have that much money that you could just throw at a commercial for fun.
Yeah.
just test it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's two brands you would not put together that are together. And I loved it so much.
Yeah.
That huge pile. Yeah, because at the beginning I'm like, this can't be a sandwich for real. And it's not. But at the same time, I feel like there's a massive portion of people who watch this commercial. And when they realized it wasn't real, were very upset.
I don't know. You get a pounder. Like if you go get a pound of roast beef, if you do the full pound, it's pretty big. I mean, it's not that tall.
A pound of meat is insane.
You know what this needed? It needed also like a triple mash, because the fluffiness and the height of that sandwich at the beginning, I feel like in between the layers of meat were like big puffy Cheetos to hold it up, to keep it looking puffy and lofty. So what if the Cheetos were like in there in secret?
Oh, man.
Then we have a whole different situation here. Then we've got like the Cheetos people coming in. That's a good mashup.
And then it's being held by the weird guy from Stranger Things that is always eating Cheetos, and then it's a Stranger Things trailer as well.
Yeah. It just keeps going.
It's layers.
And then it's actually a movie, and it's Morbin time.
Oh my goodness.
I like
Actually, the meat is just dried blood that's sort of
Congealed.
congealed. It's like, like jerky, except for it's just
Just the blood.
just like a
Yep.
And that's how magic is made. This is how they do it in the writing room in Hollywood. Just people get together and they just don't know when
Bleed
to stop.
everywhere. Yeah.
You are probably 100% correct.
Yeah.
Actually, that is probably exactly how it happens.
This is my new favorite commercial for commercial sins. There's some that like they'll come and they'll like chop it. This is my new favorite that's come to the channel so far.
Nice.
So.
What are some of the specific things you liked about it?
I really liked that we sin this beautiful man reminding the narrator of his own inadequacies. Like,
and just throwing a beard on top of it, just like you had to go there too.
You bastard.
And then there was the sin where it just kind of like the example devolves or evolves, depending on your opinion, into you don't need deodorant to stop shitting in your own living room. I just didn't see that coming. I remember, Ian, when you're like, hey, Americans, what's a cleaning product that everyone would know about? And we're like, Clorox. And like, we're like giving you these. And here it is. Oh, now I understand why you're asking about that. Okay.
What's a UK cleaning product?
Like Flash or Mr. Muscle, something like that would be.
Mr. Clean is Mr. Muscle over there? That's amazing.
Yeah, and he's very muscly. And they use this like...
Is he bald?
Is he bald?
No.
Oh.
He was originally this really weedy guy with glasses that has a bit of a... Rick
What
Moranis.
kind of guy?
Weedy.
Weedy?
Yeah.
Like smokes
like
weed?
tea, like wheat?
No, like skinny.
Tea or weedy?
Weedy. Weenie. Squee. Tiny.
Weenie. Okay.
Squee.
Languages work.
Come on, guys. Squee. Squee.
He's a little squee guy. But because he was so weak, he needed Mr. Muscle to clean the things. Hence Mr. Muscle.
It reminds me of like the trash bag, like wimpy, 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 hefty.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing. And then I got really annoyed when they turned him into a cartoon that actually had muscles. And there's Mr. Muscle Sins for you.
Nicely done. Deneé, you mentioned most of mine, although you didn't mention the stunning kitchen. Just the narrator's absolute
stunning kitchen.
Just like, when has this sandwich ever been made in this stunning of a kitchen? Come on.
No offense, Arby's, don't sue me. I'm sure your kitchens are hygienic, but they do not look like that. I guarantee it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move into TV sins. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hey, why aren't we doing episode 1, Aaron? Why aren't we doing episode? Why did you release episode 2
there hasn't
instead
been a
of
ton of
episode
people
1?
in the comments, because like I thought, even though we're gonna put it in the description, right? Like we put it in the description that we were, for reasons, we were forced. Thank you, Ian, for that pun. Appreciate that. We were forced to not start with episode 1. And so we put it in the description. I still thought the comments would just be loaded with, why are you starting with episode 2? Where's episode 1? And I honestly haven't seen that many. So I was kind of pleased. People actually pay attention.
The top comment is a string, which is really fun to read. And yeah, that's about it, really. There's a couple of mentions later but they were kind of poking fun, like, oh, I can see why you didn't do episode 1 because it's perfect. The more confusing thing was the part 2 thing, which is a Disney problem, because people in the comments were confused that, well, where's episode 2 part 1? And we're like, no, this is episode 2, which is titled part 2. And that's Disney fucking us. That's not us making a mistake.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
People are genuinely confused. Like, where's episode 2 part 1?
You needed a 2-parter for the second episode of Obi-Wan? Guys, let me tell you something about TV Sins. I cannot imagine the day we will need a 2-parter.
No.
We release entire seasons that are hour-and-a-half long videos. We don't do 2-parters. Like, that's just not something we've done.
No.
The only part 2 we've actually ever done was 1990, because CinemaSins did part 1. So CinemaSins did part 1, we did part 2. That was a lot of fun, but literally everything else we just chunk it all in there. So
y'all will watch 90-minute videos. It's okay.
You can figure out the reason. Like, it is not complicated. We have to wait on certain things to happen before we can put videos out. And we were just like, the others are ready. Let's go ahead and do this. I will say, by the time you hear this, unless you're watching live, it may all be a moot point. So there is that as well. But yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi parts 2 and 3. So it's really weird. We did episode 2 and we only did the second part. So we still have to release part 1 of episode 2. And we have to release parts 1 and 2 of episode 3 because we've only done part 3 of episode 3.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a long week.
This was, by the way, part 2 was a Cardoso Whittington script. So Ian, you get to kick us off here as well. What are some of your thoughts on Obi-Wan episode 2 without talking about episode 1? I don't care. Talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So I watched. They released part 1 and part 2 at the same time. I can see why. I watched it under the best possible circumstances with 2 good buddies, massive Star Trek, massive Star Wars nerds, a really dark room, nice sound system, nice TV, and we all just looked at each other about 20 minutes in and were like, "This isn't good, is it?" And we were all just like really reassured that the other 2 people in the room were all just like, no, this is terrible. This is really bad. I reserved my judgment so much. I was like, I have a bad feeling based on the track record of...
You've got a bad feeling about this?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't want to get cocky about the money that Disney puts behind stuff. But I was really confident about this series. I love Ewan McGregor. I love his Obi-Wan, and I probably enjoyed the prequels more than most. I was really excited for him to have this 6-hour, 3-hour amount of time to do some adventuring. And the first episode, I was like, okay, first episode pretty much sucks. You've wasted 20%, 18%, whatever, of your allotted time. It's okay, it can be saved in episode... Okay, maybe episode 3, maybe episode 4. And it just came down to, it's just not a very fun series. It's just miserable. It is Obi-Wan being retired and down, and for perfectly valid reasons that make for very poor watching TV. Like, I get it.
Sure.
This all makes sense. I would be miserable too, but I wouldn't want to watch 3 hours of me being miserable in the desert, forgetting how to use a lightsaber.
I'd watch 3 hours of you miserable in a desert forgetting how to use a lightsaber. That sounds really entertaining to me, actually.
That's friendship.
Fair enough. I think you might be in the minority on that one.
You know that moment when someone's like, you should get into that. Like, I would watch that. You're like, you're the only one.
Just
right.
you. But yes, I will do it just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it just kind of went from bad to worse for most of the season. But episode 2 in particular, the reluctance of him going to find Leia, his choice of slightly dusty Jedi for his secret disguise when he should be super recognizable anyway.
It's a real sin of the whole series is just how he goes
insane.
from like, I have to hide to, hey guys, here I am. Like, it's
here I am. And also here's all of the important people that I'm protecting.
Right, yes,
I'm going to be with them.
It's wild. It's wild how that changes.
I feel like Boba Fett and this one they're like, this is supposed to be kind of like an origin story situation. Like, how did this character develop in the unknown time?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it's like, So really not a lot then.
Yeah. I mean, it's an origin story.
I have things to say. I'll wait till my turn, but I do have things to say. I like this more than both of you, I think. But go ahead.
It's an origin story for Alec Guinness, which is so bizarre.
Sure.
It's so bizarre. Just Disney has a penchant for wasting Kumail Nanjiani. It is. I'm going to ruin your day. He's having a great time. He's absolutely loving it. But make him a forcing Jedi. He must just have it in his contract to be the butt of bad jokes. Just disappointing, lackluster, super easy to sin. This is probably the easiest TV sin stuff I've had to sin almost ever, because Boba Fett was just so nonsensically boring it was hard to sin. Mandalorian is hard to sin because it's pretty great. This was just easy to sin because it was bad, just really bad.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as you think it is. I don't think so, at least. I genuinely believe if this is a 2-hour movie, it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Like, if this is a 2-hour movie and they pick all the right parts and we genuinely just see, also get rid of Kid Leia, but, that's a whole different conversation. And we see Obi-Wan making the transformation from just like, what do I do now? I don't know what my purpose is. I don't understand who I'm supposed to be as a Jedi in hiding, to in dealing with his pain about Anakin and all that stuff, to finding resolution with that. And then, oh, okay, here's who I am. That makes a really good movie. Now, I'm not saying it makes a lot of sense with A New Hope, because in A New Hope, he's kind of basically where he is at the beginning of this show.
Yeah.
So I don't understand, but I do understand in this actual series what they're trying to do with that character. I actually think it's really good. I think there's some really cool lightsaber fights. There's, I love a lot of that stuff. And I did like the first episode more than some of the drag out episodes that happened.
Episode 6 saved it a little bit for me, but we're not talking about episode 6 today.
No.
But that's the culmination of his arc is quite fun to watch. But
and
someone has edited it into two. Oh, he is. He's incredible. Someone has edited it into a 2.5-hour movie. And they're getting quite a bit of press for it. And it works, unsurprisingly, because that's what it should have been.
I enjoyed. Okay, so my background on the Star Wars stuff is I've watched some, but not all, of Clone Wars and some of the other stuff that Obi's in and the Inquisitors are in, Rebels. I've watched some of this stuff, but not all of it. So I did enjoy seeing the Inquisitors, kind of getting more real world experience with them and background with them. So yeah, meeting the Reva character, which I think was a completely mishandled character, despite Moses Ingram doing her best and doing great work. So yeah, I had mixed feelings. I had mixed feelings on Obi-Wan, but overall come away going, okay, I'm glad that exists. I'm glad I got to see that if for no other reason than some of the moments, spread throughout the episodes. As far as the Sins videos, the video goes, force shadowing is a beautiful, simple pun. I love it because it works on several levels. And that's good. Stabbing your GI in his GI. As the husband of someone who works in the GI department at the hospital right now.
Nice.
Very much appreciated that. And then you mentioned the other one I wanted to talk about, which is this is one of the few times I wish Disney actually would get inside my mind so they could hear me screaming, "Stop wasting Kumail Nanjiani." Poor Kumail. He's getting invited to all these properties that he loves, and hey, I'm in the MCU, but not really.
Let's get ripped.
Hey, I'm in Star Wars.
Comic relief.
Not really. Poor Kumail. Although he's having the time. I'm sure he's having the time of his life.
I almost think he likes it. I would imagine he likes it. It's just a waste for us because I think he could do more.
Yeah. Deneé, what about you?
Wow. Star Wars. Listen, I think that we should say that we started with episode 2 because nothing happens in episode 1 and it's just more interesting that way. I think we should officially just go on Twitter and be like, yeah, it's on purpose.
We didn't sin it. Yeah.
Because truly, episode 1 sets you up for what starts off in episode 2. And it's I remember thinking okay, we're ready to go now. And then it's okay, I'm ready to go now. Every episode I have that. And I don't care about spoiling the whole entire thing as we go. And that's why I confidently say that every single episode is, okay, we're going to go now.
Mm-hmm.
There are some fun lightsaber stuff, like you said. But I do like that we're starting with that whole, like, okay, we're going to get to the big fight in this one. Okie dokie.
It just doesn't work for TV, right? Like, it's a weird television show.
And there's the frustrating reality that the tension that they are going for is a tension that the audience isn't going to feel because we see these characters later. So playing with the idea that Leia is in trouble and she might be hurt, or Obi-Wan or whatever. It's like, well, those aren't things that you should be touching. You should be doing something different that we find interesting that we didn't know played into the story later. That's more interesting.
Like Reva. Reva is supposed to be that, right? Like that's supposed to be that character.
Yeah. This should have been Reva.
Yeah.
This whole thing should have been Reva.
100%. They can experience trauma without it being life-threatening. And it seemed like everything was, this person is going to die. Oh, it doesn't matter because I know they don't die. They can still experience trauma, and that can be difficult to watch and entertaining to watch and inform their character later without me having to already know that they survive. And that's the balance it didn't find.
Yeah. So yeah. I echo what you guys had to say. I really loved the sin about the evolution of knees in this one, where it's like the show wants me to believe that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, knees didn't evolve in a way that allowed grown-ups to use the maximum length of their stride. What a great way of saying this dumb adult can't catch this kid. Because the sin that I would write is like, you're not running fast enough, little. You know, like it's just, but that was just a clever way of kind of bringing that. So I really enjoyed
Was that in this episode? I thought that was in the first episode.
It's
No?
both. It's in both episodes.
That's right. No. That's right. That's
chasing
right.
her on the
because
planet.
I just remembered in the first episode that was the most ridiculous thing about the whole episode was that Leia chase, but it actually happens again in this. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I have a screenshot, so I feel pretty confident, but at the same time, I fuck up regularly.
You're right.
Oh no! I think it says something about the show that it could have been either the first episode or the second episode.
And I think this outtake was in episode 2, but it was the outtake that says, "Whose balls do I have to fondle to get my own movie?" Oh my god! What is that from? Holy shit!
That's from Deadpool. It's Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay.
And the end of that line is it's like it rhymes with Hugh Jackman basically.
Oh, okay. So funny.
No, it rhymes with Pulverine. That's what he says.
Wolverine. That's good stuff. In episode 3, which can we transition to episode 3 now? Can we just go?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's
This was
go.
a Dicer Whittington script. So Ian and I are writing on this one. Go ahead,
Because you
transition
guys
us.
don't have any like additional thoughts really going into 3, do you? This is the episode where, nothing happens again.
Oh, Flea is in it slightly more. Wait, no, is that this episode? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
no, it
Flea is in this one. This is the one where Leia has been captured.
That doesn't narrow it down.
No.
Oh, right, yeah.
that's all of them. No, this is the one where Obi-Wan is really miserable.
Oh, that doesn't narrow it down either. Yeah. What is the distinguishable moment from this one that we can kind of outline? Obi-Wan goes to the Neon planet to retrieve Leia, and Reva catches up to them and stabs her other brother.
All episode
at
2.
the end. Is that all episode 2?
It's
You
all
sure?
episode 2.
Yeah, I think that's
Episode
episode 2.
Episode 3 is on the sandy Mondusa or something, or the mining planet where
They go to that mining planet that is
And you got the
also
robot?
like desert, just a slightly
it's the
different kind of
robot
desert.
And
one.
road.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
that's it.
Yeah. Wow, guys. Oh, because episode 2 is the one where Ewan McGregor's actual daughter was in it.
Yes, correct. And selling him drugs. Yeah.
Yes.
And then Morbius turned up and screamed, "It's
That's
Morbin
right.
time."
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Morbin time. God.
This is one of the series that was ever made.
The only things that stand out from episode 3 for me are the sins. Like, so for example, there's Aaron, you do this really fun take in the narration on this one where you're like, coming soon to a theater near you, or to a TV, whatever, you Obi to Kenobi. You won't believe how little you care about Star Wars anymore. Oh my god, that one fucking killed me. Oh shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh because this is the one where Darth Vader shows up and doesn't force sense his own daughter, and then they finally kind of have a battle, which I think Ian wrote the foam noodle battle.
Yeah, huh? And it's a fact. I've seen more compelling foam noodle water battles than whatever this was.
It was so funny because the visual is just Darth and Obi just smacking each other with like really uncomfortable wet noodles. Oh, it's so good.
Would have made for a better
It's
fight.
so funny.
Yeah.
This is also the one where I realized that hello there is a thing. I didn't realize.
Hello
I was so
there.
confused.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you got to mimic the there, which you did
Hello
great.
there.
You did great. Now I know it's a thing because there's memes about it after he finally says it later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Alec Guinness started that, right?
Yeah, episode 4. That's it, straight away.
Yeah, very first movie.
When he meets the droids or
Mhm.
Luke, I can't remember. But yeah, he says it.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yeah, this is a wild waste of an episode. It literally, and we say this in the sin about the show is just doing kidnapped, rescued. Like it literally is just on repeat, so we can get to 6 episodes. And this planet was wild to me. There's so many wild choices made. Like when they come up against that blockade. And after they kill everybody, they're trying to figure out how to turn off the thing. It's like you can literally just walk around the edge. Like
it's so dumb.
like,
it's not even a reach
wild.
for a nitpick. It's scoot around it. It's so dumb.
It's wild. Really shocked me the stormtrooper getting like bisected. It was just
brutal.
Like, it's really brutal. And kind of blew my mind. This is the episode where we had the faceplate conversation today.
Yes, the helmet debate.
Yeah, where we had a debate about whether those who can't see the video, Deneé just gave the look that says, "I'm not sure I even want to talk about this again."
I'll let you talk about whatever you want to talk about. I got shit to say about it.
Deneé didn't do an eye roll. She did. Her eyes actually stayed in place and did
her
a full
face
head
rolled.
roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yes, the idea that for some reason the
The
faceplate.
curtain peels back. We don't always agree, people. And I'm often the one standing alone. It's great. Feels awesome.
So the faceplate in this one, for some reason, operates differently than what we've seen, not only at the beginning of Darth Vader, as is shown in the prequels, but also at the end of Darth Vader, as is shown in Return of the Jedi. So the idea being that somewhere they just decided, let's try a different design for a while, and went back from it.
The comments
So that
had
was a fun
some
conversation.
very reaching defenses for the explanation for that I'm still just like, nah. No.
No. And then the also stands out because this was the one where we send the idea that it was so great to hear James Earl Jones back. Except it's not James Earl Jones. And so I think the sin was, it's so great to have the digitally recreated and disembodied voice harnessed outside of its original owner with no human performance and ruthlessly mined to generate dollars for a soulless corporation back for this.
And it's the most shoehorniest shoehorn to ever shoehorn Hayden Christensen into something as well. Like, you fine, an episode later on needs him.
Yeah.
But that episode didn't need that scene. It's just, man, there's no need to bring him
I don't
back.
know. I'd battle back on that a little bit. I'm really glad Hayden was in this. Not just because I actually think he eventually does do some performing that I like in this, but also because he kind of needed this to wash kind of the Star Wars thing.
Oh,
Like
him
he had a
personally,
really bad
yeah.
experience with that, and there are several actors obviously that have had a bad experience with Star Wars fandom.
Well, 2 actors in particular that played Anakin. Like, this character is pretty cursed.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, I'm glad that he kind of got to have this moment to be called back to duty, so to speak. So it was good to see him. That's all I wanted to mention. What do you got, Ian?
No, I enjoyed this more than the previous 2 episodes combined. But it's the least valuable of the 6. So when I feel like that about an episode, I'm like, man, this series is just not for me. The wet noodle lightsaber fight is ridiculous. My favorite sin was Leia saying, "Are you my dad?" And everyone saying, "I wish I could say I was." It's like, what an oddly strange time to say, "I wish I'd fucked your mum." Like, that's what you're saying. Like, saying, "I wish I was your dad." Like, that's exactly what you're saying. I mean, did we want to talk about how we nearly changed the TV Sins interface screen in this episode, but then abandoned it?
Sure, go for it. Yeah, talk about whatever. That's what this show's for. Yeah, go
I
for
didn't know
it.
if that was too behind the scenes.
I mean, maybe there's something that's too behind the scenes, but then our live audience gets to see it and we cut it out of the main podcast. Like, that's
Nice.
fine. Just
Amazing.
Go for it.
We nearly changed the frame on the TV Sins thing.
Mhm.
It was after I hate it when sci-fi shows in particular shoot panels to unlock doors because you don't know, that doesn't work. You could have just prevented any chance you have of getting through this door, and the narrator was going to smash their keyboard, and that was going to result in an interface change and just the general look of the TV Sins frame. But we decided against it. We're going to save that for another video.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
it'll happen at some point. It's we've done 2 so far. There are certainly at least 2 more. I think 3 more that make complete sense. That are TV brands that would fit very well with the sin pun. So it makes sense to do it again. We don't know when necessarily.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into CinemaSins. Turning Red. This was a Dicer Hughes script. Deneé and I writing on this one. Deneé, go off.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I have a friend named Aaron.
Oh, that's
Oh,
me.
no. You're not going to be happy.
Aaron told me that I would like this movie. Aaron also told me that my daughter would like this movie. So Iris and I sit down together and we begin watching it, and we are approximately 3 minutes in, and I look at her and she's just got this look of confusion and horror on her face. And I pause it. It feels like I've been watching a movie for 10 years at the 3-minute mark because it's just nonstop, fast-paced, tween-age angst. This kid is screaming every line. And I said, I'm not having fun. And she says, I don't like this very much. And so we turned on something else. This is why you have other friends besides Aaron.
Oh.
Well, let me clear up a couple. Let me just state for the record, I know better than to tell you will like a movie. I have not in probably, I'm going to say 8 years, told you that you will like a movie. I have said this might be one you would enjoy because it is always something that may or may not happen. And the reason, one of the things that I've noticed with you guys is you don't like movies that are have deep
Emotion.
Scary things. And I thought
right.
the energy would be fun for you guys, but it was not. So that's okay.
Not to mention it's terrifying on all levels. I mean, this is for an older kind of kid. This isn't for a 5-year-old for sure. I tease a little bit, but this is one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen. I've never wanted to slap a pretend child as much. May is maybe the most annoying thing. And I fear being a mom of a child that might grow up to be that too. That kind of just nonstop screaming level. It was a lot. I didn't like it. Sending it was okay. It was okay. I just sometimes I wish my job wasn't having to watch things.
This is one of those moments.
And this is one of those moments. I know that there's going to be cultural things I'm not going to get. I glanced at some of the comments on this one, and there are some things, that I don't understand. I don't understand not talking to your children about periods. I don't understand how the possibility of getting your period at 13 is too soon. That was really frustrating to me. Yeah. I found the examples and talking about it and all that stuff, it didn't work for me on just about every level. It wasn't a cute story. It was an angry story. And I get that we have emotions and women have emotions and stuff, but to me, it didn't even really address embracing them as much as it just kind of started to touch on it a little bit. And then the movie turned into, superhero panda thing. And I don't know. I fucking hate this movie. That's all. I really don't have anything good to say about it. And and I get a little bit afraid when that happens because I know that this movie is loved by people, but it hit me in all the wrong ways. And I watched it 4 times and it never got better for me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate those experiences. That's the worst. And there's the added part of it, like you mentioned, where people are enjoying the movie, that it means something to people, and you don't want to be the person who's this thing that means something to you is terrible, but but you have your experience and they have theirs, and that's just how it goes. So yeah, that was no fun. Did you want to talk about any of the sins process or anything like that?
I don't really I don't remember if anything really stood out to me on this one that was super interesting to kind of go off on. If I think of something, I'll interject.
Okay. I will go next. I also wrote on this one. I do love this movie. I think it's the thing I love most about this movie is the specificity. I love how specifically it is Canadian. I love how specifically it is Toronto, even, and Asian Toronto. There's a really specific world here that comes from Domee Shi's actual childhood. You can feel that she is talking about herself in this movie and revealing kind of some of her experiences of what it meant to kind of grow up and understand what it meant to be a woman and all of those things. To me, I enjoyed kind of looking into that world and figuring that out. And I think the cringe aspects of that are, the bug is the feature, right? Those cringe aspects are exactly what she's trying to do because that time of life is so cringe. And Deneé, you've talked about this before. You hate almost all TV in movies that deal with high school, deal with growing up, coming of age.
This wasn't to me. I actually really enjoyed the relationship with her friends. She had a pretty healthy relationship with her friends. In fact, I guess if there is one thing that was kind of oh, that's interesting, it wasn't like they didn't have an unrealistic 13-year-old friendship back and forth. They were into music together. They had their own song. They had their own little world. And I found myself to be a little bit reminiscent of friends that I had where we would get together, we pop in our favorite CD, we would bounce around and sing and stuff like that. So there wasn't really, to me, too much teening. There wasn't that angsty stuff that pops up. There's the kid that she ends up, almost killing as a panda. But I don't know. It didn't press in on that too much, and that's not why I hated it. I just thought it was, I don't know. Guys, I'm in a fucking pissy mood. There is nothing I'm going to talk about today that I don't hate. It's just one of those days. I just got a message from the place that's had my car for 2 weeks that they don't have it ready. I can't take it on a trip that I'm sending on Sunday, and I just wrote back, they're going to be giving me a vehicle then that I can take. And I was told, well, you have a Jeep. So I'm having that conversation too while I'm on the show.
Wow.
Anything that comes up now.
Wow.
Anything. Okay, if David Bowie comes up, that's probably...
Oh, you smiled so big. I like that.
Let's talk about David Bowie. For the rest of the show, let's just talk about David Bowie.
Oh, that's good friends. That's good friends. No, it wasn't really honestly that. I do realize, you're right. I do realize I get really grumpy about particular topics. But to me, it's just it didn't talk about, periods too much, and then the metaphor didn't even work by the end of it. It's just it's a weird movie, guy.
I think what I locked into with it is the generational trauma stuff. There's this real thing going on about how this is passed down generation to generation, about expectations, about what it means to be, a woman, what it means to be a woman in our family, those kind of things. And the metaphor, the idea that as a woman, you bottle up everything about your womanhood and you protect it and you deny it and you put it in this place where it can't ever be shown and be real, and that's how you be a woman, and that they all had to eventually discard that to heal. They all had to break those trinkets. Now, most of them decided to maintain it at the end and to bring it back to that place, but to give the Domee Shi's May character the ability to go, if you don't want to bottle this up, if you just want to be you, whatever that looks like, we're going to stop that generational trauma here. That was moving to me. I really found meaning in that. And so I think that's one of the reasons I really enjoyed the movie. Plus, I thought the energy was fun. I enjoyed all the stuff, even the twerking. I thought that was hilarious. So the panda twerk, which is a phrase, you just don't think you're going to use that often.
Which is a phrase that you just said.
Which is a phrase that was just mentioned. I think for me, the thing about sinning this movie is it's really easy to sin this movie because this movie just plays by its own rules and doesn't even care. There are so many times where this movie does not care to even pretend like it exists in the real world, right? When there are these giant pandas and nobody is reacting, or when their classmates are not only are we not scared, this is the coolest thing ever. Let's take pictures and instead of running screaming, from what's going on. The fact that there is no repercussions for what happens at the end. They just get to go on and live their life, and everybody just trusts them, and they're just,
this is fine.
just like this is fine. Hey, so you turned into a giant panda that destroyed the entirety of the Sky Dome. That's good. Just go on with your life. Everything's fine. And they make a joke about it, like, yeah, they're raising money for the Sky Dome or whatever. But I think it would be more than just, hey, can you pay for the Sky Dome?
You'd be doing some jail time. Yeah, you're a menace.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, this movie doesn't care. That's okay. Many movies are like that. But it makes it really, really easy to sin. Also, like the under the bed exposition, right? Like everything's just set up presentationally, like we're doing a presentation on what is happening in this movie. So yeah, that's kind of what I found while sinning it. Ian, some of your thoughts?
I fell asleep during the last third of this movie. Yes, I did. Me and Aaron were watching it together, and I fell unconscious. I think we had like an almost double bill of this and is it Deep Water, Open Water?
Deep Water,
Deep
I
Water,
think, yeah.
And annoyingly, that's the one I stayed awake for the entirety of, and this is the one I fell asleep through. Unsurprisingly, this didn't super connect to me. I also have an aversion to the awkward high schoolness animation adaptation stuff, but I did appreciate the sometimes metaphor, sometimes this is the thing we're talking about, it's not subtext, it's just text-ness of it. And from afar, I could see how this is valuable to people, and an original story dealing with something that is usually perceived as gross and icky and not talked about. And the biggest thing when reading the comments as well was how common it is to just not talk about this topic until it's happening, and then it's a panic and the real trauma that some kids have gone through. Because, hey, guys, you didn't tell me that this is normal. I thought I was dying. Which, yeah, of course, I can't think of anything much worse than waking up and realizing you're bleeding and have no clue why as well. That education needs to start way younger.
Well, it needs to just be common conversation. Let's be honest. I mean, it just needs to be something, and that's it is wild to me that there are parents who don't communicate with their children about important things because they're weirded out by it. That's just wild to me. I get maybe there's an uncomfort with it, but I don't know. Do your job. I don't know. It's just like
feels like it.
You've got a human that's going to go through some stuff. Maybe
Help
prepare them.
Yeah, maybe. But these films, I just don't gravitate towards these kind of films. To be completely honest, just didn't do a huge amount for me. I don't think I would have been the right person to sin it for many reasons. But one of the things that Pixar is really great at doing is doing these cultural movies that have a specific angle and don't apologize for being a little bit niche and specific to that viewpoint, and getting the right people to do it as well. So, yeah, props to the movie for that. In terms of the sins, I liked sinning phones that still click when they take a picture. This is like having an electric car that makes engine noises for the fossil fuel nostalgia.
Somebody in the comments said that that's a thing.
No, it happens. It happens.
Oh.
I didn't get time to do the research on this, but in England, I'm sure they were tabling a law which would make that compulsory so that people can hear the car coming because it's dangerous. People are just like walking into the middle of the road and not hearing the car coming. But yeah, you can download USBs that will play engine noises if you miss the engine noise coming from your car, which I get it. Like, I love the sound of my car.
I thought I picked the most ridiculous example, and it's like, nope, there is no ridiculous example. Humans don't like change. We do not.
We like what we like. I'm sure that if music was a thing, if USBs and sound effects were a thing back when, like,
music a thing?
Is music a thing now? When, like, cars took over horse and carriages, like, would they have projected the clip-clop of horses because they missed the sound?
Yes, they would have.
Horses? They would. Absolutely. That would have been the more ridiculous example. Movie isn't telling me why. Sometimes the transformation is body part by body part, and other times it's Panda Express. I roll, but chuckle at the same time. Fine. This twerks is just, I'm amazed it's not a sin that we use more oftenly because it's beautiful. It's perfect. And of course, there's no way we're getting through this without mentioning Sun Yi with a chance of meatballs, because just the absolute joy that Aaron had with that. I was willing it to be something that Deneé wrote, but just to like kind of steal that from you, Aaron, because
Well, it's funny because
know
we
how
had
happy you are.
that interaction on Twitter with Nick, I believe, one of our fans, Nick, who I think's hanging out in the live show as well, who basically tweeted and said that he assumed it was an Aaron special until he remembered that Ian's on the team now, and then maybe it was you. That's how I interpreted the tweet, at least. That's not exactly what it said. Yeah, it's interesting. The logic he used to think it might not be me was I would never say a pun was forced, right?
Yes,
like,
you
which
would
is an
own
interesting thought. Yeah, I would own it. The problem is I did force that pun. That pun was forced.
Yes.
Like, that is one of those examples where the character's name was Sun Yi, and I was like, oh, I have to do a Sunny with a chance of meatballs pun in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And to find the exact point,
meat y'alls.
where it works, and to be able to land on meat y'alls was really beautiful. And then to be able to go, that it's forced as much as I forced, that movie title pun, which does a couple things, right? Number one, it's self-deprecating. And number two, if you didn't realize that was a movie pun, which I hope you would almost immediately, you go back and go, Sunny with a chance of meatballs. Yeah.
He's cleverer
yeah.
than I thought he was. Good.
Exactly. And really, at the end of the day, isn't that what we're supposed to do with our writing, is point
That's
out
what
how clever
counts.
we are.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
No.
No, that was a lot of fun to squeeze that one in there. Yeah. There
That's
you
my
go.
thoughts. That's it.
That is Sun Yi with a chance of meat y'alls for our first movie for this week. No, it's Turning Red. Our second movie this week is interesting. It's Morbius.
How do we talk about this? Amazing.
I think this is all... there's really no reason for us to go over Morbius conversation again.
No, I hate this movie more than you think I know. Wait.
Yeah.
More than you think you know.
No, that
I
works.
Do. Yeah. No, that works.
That's a perfect
Yeah.
way to talk about this movie. So yeah, who wants to talk a little bit about kind of the behind the scenes on this? Deneé, do you want to kind of go over kind of how this happened and just our
someone
thoughts on
decided to make this movie.
Yeah.
that was the first step.
Yeah.
That's the first
Yeah.
step.
One of the movies of all time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, just real briefly, this was an idea that Jeremy had originally to release a second one that was like more meme related
Mm-hmm.
and kind of do like a collaborative sort of meme video. But it would have taken, I think, more time than we realized. And so as the script was being written, the original script was being written, and then of course they re-released the video, it just hit him like, well, we'll just re-release the same video. The issue really is that if we re-release the same exact video, then the YouTube lords, they have like this whole, we call it an algorithm, but they're like little beings that scan everything, and then they come down with like sieves and they slice you up.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't know this because this is the behind the scenes information. It's very scary.
You can't tell anyone
wear
about
hoods,
it.
They put the
like,
gore in algorithm.
Yeah. They're real dark hoods, and they kind of like loom over you and stuff.
Algorithmites.
Anyway, exactly, that's it. We would have gotten in trouble essentially. And it probably wouldn't have been able to have been released at all because it would have been like, hey, you just can't put the same shit out all the time. But turns out you can if you change some stuff. So we went back. We went back through and we shifted around some sins and kind of sprinkled in some new things that winked and nodded to the Morbin culture, the Morbin memes. And we just turned around and released it on the main channel. Originally, we thought maybe about not even releasing a full video, just doing something short. And also was thought, do we just release this to our patrons? Like, where does this go? Are we brave enough to put it out on the channel twice?
Mm-hmm. Do we get
Yeah.
destroyed for doing that?
Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm.
We are. So we re-released essentially the same video and sent it out with a new thumbnail and to the same exact audience, and kind of sat back and wondered how it would be received. You guys want to talk about how it's been received?
I think it's been received really well. The comments seem to be really enjoying the meta-ness of it all. The idea that we're, aping what Sony? I just realized
Sony.
I wasn't 100% sure on the company. Sony did by putting it back in theaters. And so, yeah, and it's been fun to watch the comments find the new stuff, and timestamp it and that kind of stuff, which you can find. The first, I think it's one of the first comments is a real fun progression of somebody basically being like, oh, cool. They did a whole second video with more sins, and then basically other people being like, "Who wants to tell them?" You know, like
Yeah,
that kind of
like, oh, just let him have this.
just let him have this. So yeah, it's been fun to see people's reaction. I think it's in the spirit of meme culture and kind of what it's done with this movie, and so I think it works really well. So yeah, I think it's been good.
I didn't watch the first Morbius video. This is the first time I watched it.
Oh,
Yeah.
So do you have thoughts on it?
I don't know what I just watched, but I really enjoyed Jeremy's delivery of these sins, though. It was really fun. It was very delightful.
So mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like his recurring 8 people died thing was really, really great. I really like the sins where it's just like, this movie was made.
Yes.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite sins. It's like this is the movie, everyone.
People got together in a room, made a movie, and this is the result of that.
Mm-hmm.
Ian and I got together in a room and watched this movie. So
Grumble. I remember finishing the movie and just saying, that is the worst comic book movie I've ever seen. And I think
you literally said to me, "Is that as bad as I think it is?" or something like that.
That was my first response. And when you're like, no, that's terrible. It's bad. And I don't think you were ready to call it the worst comic book movie you'd ever seen, but I stand by it. It is 100% the worst comic book adaptation I've ever watched because nothing happens. It is such a nothing movie with a nothing plot, nothing characters, no redeemingness. It's just this slightly blue-tinged, dark, nonsense, miserable, lacking charisma other than Matt Smith thing. And
he's the only one that knew the assignment. Matt Smith is the only one who knew the assignment.
The only one acting ridiculous enough for any of this to make sense. It's just a shit movie. But I love how widely I didn't really see any negative comments at all, saying, "Oh, you guys are lame. Why did you do this?" Everyone is just like, "Yeah, this is pretty spot on. This is the right time to do this." And someone said the fact that this video has been seen more times than the re-release of the movie itself is perfect. I think that's true. I think the re-release bombed so hard we do have more views, and that's incredible. Than the actual re-release. It's so great.
We should actually look that up because I think that would be close. It would have to be close.
I honestly think we will get there very shortly if we haven't already.
Our re-release did better than their re-release of an actual movie.
How many people
that would be really, really
Morbius
interesting to figure out. So
release. Returned to 1,000 theaters, made $85,000 in the first day. So not many. Anyway, there's some further maths needed to be done on that, but I'm sure we'll get there.
If you go to Box Office Mojo, they do break things down by tickets sold. They do have a tickets sold thing. Anyways, that would be fun to kind of research. Amazing. Maybe we'll do that.
And
do that here in a bit.
The other comment I saw was it almost feels like this is more of a shot at the movie re-releasing in theaters. I know it's not, but let me believe it for a minute. Another one of the did you and that was comment 50 as well. You didn't read anything, did you?
I almost feel like. Well, go ahead and completely feel like it. Go ahead and embrace that feeling, buddy.
Can confirm this happened. Yeah.
All right, let's move into the comment section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to pick a comment for last week's content from the various places you reach out: Discord, YouTube, Reddit, etc. Deneé, kick us off. What's your comment this week?
My comment this week is, "Hi, thanks for watching our videos." Oh, you mean from them?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I really liked the comment on one of the Obi-Wan TVs, which was, "I think you misspelled everything wrong with Reva since it's her show." And I thought that was clever.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite one.
Ian, what about you?
So mine comes from Elias Fakename, which might also be pronounced Elias fake name or alias fake name. I'm not too sure. I'm choosing my pronunciations.
Wow. Amazing.
Give me a rim shot. You got to have one on there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you
go. So this is from Turning Red. Moral of the story: don't kill the part of you that's cringy. Kill the part that cringes. And I stopped, did a head tilt, and looked off into the distance for a couple of minutes while I pondered that. And it's very deep bit of insight and wisdom from a YouTube comment, and I don't think it's entirely wrong. You giving me crickets? Like that's a meaningful thought.
It is a meaningful thought, and in fact, it's exactly the comment that I picked
Oh,
for this
give
week.
me some more crickets then.
Then let's do this one.
Okay.
This one from Turning Red, which said the "What if women had feelings" got me there with a whole bunch of laughing faces, which was one of my most favorite sins.
It's so great.
Pixar asked the question, "What if women had feelings?" I loved that one.
How dare they?
How dare they, indeed.
That's a great sin.
All right, let's move on to nitpicking, the nitpickers of the nitpickers.
But we wouldn't want to nitpick, right, Danny?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more. Actually.
Oops. What do you mean, oops?
Missed it by that much.
Am I just going to nitpick everyone until they leave me?
Ian's going to take a look at some actuallys from the comments, and we're going to decide together if the commenter was green, yellow, or red.
Okie dokie, Turning Red. The kittens are actually part of a group of cats that live at the temple. You can see glimpses of them and the adult cats throughout the movie during the temple scenes. So her parents are generations who lives. So yeah, and generations who lives there before just went outside and gathered them together for the kitten test. The narrator was questioning why kittens, where did they come from, who, what, when, and where. Deneé, do you accept that as a reasonable explanation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I saw that too, and it's not like I missed it. It's just still fucking dumb.
Yes.
They just can go out and collect kittens willy-nilly whenever they want to, exactly at the right moment when their child turns into a giant goddamn red panda.
Also, have you ever tried to herd kittens? I don't care if you know exactly where they are and they are tied to something. You are still not getting them in a box.
They're not sitting inside that box.
Herding
Isn't that
kittens
literally
is
a
the
phrase, herding cats?
You know where they
Yeah,
are.
it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
The point isn't like how are they? It's like how are they at the ready? Isn't like.
They
It wasn't
don't
as if I
exist.
thought that they
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
exist and they
exactly.
brought them into existence. I also saw the cats there. I pondered that. I still sinned
Still
it.
a sin. I think that's a green or red, whichever way we decide we now rank these things.
Given my anger today, just give it to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just give
absolutely.
me one. Ian.
Absolutely.
Come
We're
on,
calling that
come
red.
on.
Deneé is-
that
Feed
is
my
red.
ego a little bit because that's what makes people feel better.
Deneé is Turning Red. The other one from Turning Red was I refuse to believe that Encanto has more sins than Turning Red. Aaron, discuss. Pixar genius.
I mean, let's just talk about the very, very important assessment of the quality of a movie based on how many sins it has. We've said it
Definitive.
once. We will say it. We will say it again as a definitive ranking of your favorite films. However the sin total comes out, just put that in order, and that's how good the movies are.
That's how much you should like the film.
Correct. So let's start there. Make sure that that's understood. And in that case, Turning Red is a better movie than Encanto. Correct. So that's just facts. I mean, we're just dealing with science here at this point. So
Yeah, exactly. Agreed. Good. That's a green. On to Morbius. Just a point of clarification from an ICU nurse. We can and often do administer pills and capsules to comatose patients. It's safer for a patient than administering medications intravenously, since every single IV access increases the risk of introducing an infection directly into the bloodstream. Her ET tube in that scene is even real close to the actual thing. Not bad. You should criticize the machine at the beginning that started to go out and the kid immediately keeled over, because that is some BS. Aaron, you didn't write on this, but you have a wife that works in the hospital, so you absolutely should have fixed this.
Aaron, you're married to somebody who might know medical stuff, a year's worth of medical training.
You should fix a video that you didn't write on.
This is one of those examples where I just read it and I go, okay, cool. Yeah, you win.
Yes. You're correct. Well done. But
Yeah.
Got it wrong. Cool. Morbius still sucks.
That's right.
And the last one is, I don't think I'll ever, and I don't, man, I just had to give this person some credit. It's for the episode 2 of Obi-Wan. I don't think I'll ever get back the 20 minutes I spent trying to find the first episode since video.
I loved that comment. I almost used it for the comment section.
That's a sin on us. We're sorry. We put it in the description.
It's
We
not
tried.
a sin on
We
us.
tried.
It's not a sin on us. It's a sin on the system.
It is.
The system fucked us.
And
Yeah.
they follow up with their own comment and just like, look, I know this is on me. I didn't read the description. I just went to find it and could not. Which is just amazing. I apologize, but YouTube.
Yeah. The system is down.
But YouTube.
That's a purple. That one.
That is a chartreuse.
Can we just go with plaid? Can we go with
Yes.
like can we
Sure.
do
That
patterned
is
ones
a
now?
tartan.
Absolutely.
Tartan. sin.
Yes, that's a tartan sin.
Yes.
I am Tata.
Nope. Let's finish off with some Neé-play.
Who puts her in charge?
I did.
There is no plan B.
How did we get here?
I should embrace the chaos.
That makes no sense.
I do what I want.
I regret nothing.
The entire segment, we turn over to the chaotic wonder that is Deneé Hughes.
Can we adjust that to be the angry, chaotic one?
Yes, the entire segment, we turn over to the angry, chaotic wonder that is Deneé Hughes.
Can we just say for a quick moment, I recognize that sometimes listening to this podcast, it's bringing you joy. And today, if my pissed off angriness is passing on to you, well, fuck. Sorry about that. But maybe it's entertaining. Maybe my frustration is something that will fuel the hate within you. And you too will come to the dark side.
Oh, you too have been in the dark side for a very long time.
Wait. Wait, what is happening right now?
You said you too, and I said the band was already on the dark side. The band you
Yeah,
too.
I got it. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it. Super got it. Okay, first of all, I'm going to use this moment to say that I was organizing my office and I came across our OG behind the scenes sticker cache.
Yeah.
I have 70 stickers.
Why did we ever need 70?
What do you mean by that, Ian?
How would we ever have 70 fans?
No,
Let's just pause. Go on. No, go on. Save yourself.
It wasn't
go
just
on.
for the fans, it was the survey thing. So, like, I think 70 survey completions is bold. Like, that's asking for a lot of time investment.
Yeah. Why would we just get stickers for one thing? Why would we have them for multiple things? Like, what's your logic there, Ian?
The fact that we still have 70 left proves my point. Wherever this goes, the fact that we didn't use them all.
Can we just kick him off the show?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Ian's gone.
Bye.
Okay, Ian, I'll just bye. Okay. Anyway, we have 70 remaining stickers of the whole fucking bunch that I already goddamn sent out, and we have already given out Ian Whittington. These are just the amount that we have left over.
Of the 75 that we ordered.
She literally just kicked him out. He's gone.
I'm actually gonna kick him off of the whole show. He's not back. Anyhow, so
Hey, it's your segment. You do as you please.
I was thinking that I want to actually send these out, right? So if you haven't gotten a sticker and you want one, I think what I'm gonna do is I'll put it up. I'll make sure that it's somewhere. Maybe it's in the comments or the description of this episode with a link of where to go. I'm thinking about naming the form like "Get Your Fucking Sticker" or something because I'm just in a pissy mood and that makes me feel better. Cussing helps. Now, if there's children listening, please talk to your parents. Also, why do you let kids listen to this show? Anyway, so I have 70. I want to get rid of them because they're our old logo, and so it's myself and one single eyebrow Aaron and Jonathan. And now we have a bigger team. And so we're going to need to update this logo at some point in time. And the middle part is a sticker and it has like this really sweet note on the outside. And guess what, guys? I actually signed every single one of them. Look, I did 70 signatures on these to say thank you. So I don't want to just throw them away in the trash, even though Ian probably thinks that's exactly what I should do. So that's the first thing I want to say. Next up, I have ideas for things we can talk about. From this little book. These are questions that I was going to ask the both of you, but I'm not talking to Ian. So, Aaron, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay,
Let's go.
All right. Here's the first question.
Okay.
Who is the craziest person in your life?
That is you, Deneé.
The craziest?
Well, let's just say.
Really?
Let's just say if you define it colloquially as just somebody who's willing to do things outside of the norm, like that kind of thing, then that's how I'm defining it. Like you are the most willing to be different,
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the pejoratively, which that's unfortunate. So I don't think we're talking about it in that way. But
No, you're right. I think the craziest person in my life is my daughter, but that's because she's only 5 and she doesn't know when the things that she's doing are bonkers.
Yeah.
Like last night, she decided to clean the sink with her bare hands. Thankfully, it had just been recently washed, so it wasn't like it was disgusting or anything. But she fills the sink with water and like 4 different kinds of random soap. And she had really dirty hands, but they remained dirty the whole time. Like she didn't clean her nails or anything, and she had just been playing, and she was pretty gross. And then she uses all that water to wash her face. And I was just like, this is insane. This is insane. And I want you to stop. But I also want you to continue to discover what is or what isn't happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Yep.
If you could acquire a talent without any extra effort, what would it be?
So I can pick. So this isn't a superpower question, correct? This is an actual human talent. I just want to clarify.
Well, it says a talent. It doesn't say human talent, just to be specific.
But I mean, real world. I mean, it's like, I'm just saying, once you can give yourself superpowers, this question changes. So I'm going to take this to mean like an existing talent. And I think I have to go expert. I like a virtuoso piano player. I think that's where I have to land, because I mean, if
that's a good one. I kind of want that one too.
If I was thinking about money, there are some other places I might go, but I'm just thinking about something I would love to be able to do, and that would allow me to write songs better. Like if I because it is definitely a songwriting instrument, right?
Yeah.
Like once you know kind of how chords and the chord progressions and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I would be either a virtuoso guitar player or piano player, one of the songwriting instruments. Yeah.
Does that automatically mean that you can play the piano and still sing at the same time, right? Because you're so talented?
Well, I think those are 2 different talents. Thankfully, I already am able to sing really well. So
right. So hopefully it's just a nice merger.
Listen, just listen to some of the TV Sins videos. It's clear that I have an incredible voice. Incredible, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, will you flip it over to Chipmunk and sing something real quick?
Sure.
Thanks.
Oh wait, that's
not Chipmunk. That's not Chipmunk.
Okay, I got it.
Take these angry wings and let me fly again, so sweet and so free.
I don't even know that song. I don't know why I picked that song, other than I recently sang it in a video.
Okay.
So
take 2. Any other song, just a little bit longer.
Something that I know, some sort of song.
That you can belt from your soul. Yeah.
Let me look up the lyrics.
That means you don't know it from your soul. If you have to look up the lyric, no lyrics.
No lyrics.
No lyrics. This is my segment.
I have to guess.
This is my segment.
Okay.
I decided long ago.
Okay, here we go.
Just a small town boy, born and raised in South Detroit. Took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a small town girl. I can't anymore. I just can't anymore.
Oh, God,
I can't anymore.
come on. That was
Don't stop believing. Hold on to this feeling. Street lights leaving.
Oh man.
All right. Next question.
Next question.
All right. Water, ice, or steam?
That's it? That's the entire question?
That's the entire question in this book. It's just those words, those 4 words. Water, ice, or steam.
Water, ice, or steam. Currently ice, because we're out and our ice machine just broke.
So I thought you didn't like ice.
Well, I use ice every single day in my smoothies.
Drinks.
Yeah, for my kachaba and my protein drinks. So yeah.
All right. I'm going water.
Yeah, I mean that would be my choice on a normal day.
We only have 3 more questions left.
Okay.
What can you smell right now?
Nothing. My microphone? Yeah, it's got a little bit of a metal smell to it.
Oh, okay. I thought for a split second there, I was a little concerned about what would be stinking.
Sure, yeah.
I can smell like my candle that I had on earlier, and then I have like a little scent thingy here with some sticks inside of it.
I'm smelling. Is that Ian's desperation to get back on the show? I think.
Poor guy.
No, you're not smelling that.
Ian, get out. Who are you jealous of? I'll answer this one first. I'm jealous of you, Aaron, but you know why I really want your board.
Yeah.
And also just your brain. You're so fucking good at everything.
I am definitely not good at everything. I, for one, am not a virtuoso piano player. So there's that. Jealousy, man. I don't like jealousy.
Jealous of? I know, but just a quick, like, who are you jealous of? Or what? Wait.
I think
Who? It's a who, not what. It's a who.
Okay, so this is interesting because I've talked often about how I love aging. I love embracing every moment of life. But if I were to be jealous of somebody, it would probably be one of my kids. Just because, like, as it currently stands, there is death that comes as you age. And man, I really want to see what the next 100 years look like. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things, like I know, like on like best case scenario with current medical science, you know, maybe I can see the next half century, you know, maybe. But yeah, I would love to see into the 2100s. That would be really fun.
That's a good reason to be jealous.
Yeah, I would be jealous of my kids.
That's a good one.
Youth.
Okay, last one, most important. What's your favorite cereal? Mine's Basic 4.
That's a great cereal. Basic 4 is a great cereal. I like Raisin Nut. I'm going to go with Fruity Pebbles, though. I think Fruity Pebbles is just like a treat.
That's a dangerous one.
It's just like a dessert cereal, and it's...
Yeah, but it coats your mouth the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to eat it nonstop, but man, that...
Right. The question isn't like, what would you eat for the rest of your life if it was a cereal? Yeah.
So I think I'll go with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming over to my segment. Do we have anything else we need to do?
Just close out the show. Should we invite Ian back to close out the show?
That's up to you.
That's right. Your segment's over, so I get to add Ian back to the show. Oh, hey, Ian. Hi.
Hello.
Do you have anything you want to say before we finish out?
No.
Remind me so much of my kids when they've been in the corner for 5 minutes. And they're just like, no, I'm just going to play my DS.
Get a bowl of Fruity Pebbles and play some Mario Kart.
There you go. Well, that's going to wrap it up for Behind the Sins this week on a very uplifting note. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed and go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, mail it to P.O. Box 881 Republic, Missouri 65738. You can hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Aaron Dicer. He's at Wits End, and she's at Deneé Says.
DeneeSays.
So for Ian Whittington, Deneé Hughes, an underused Kumail Nanjiani, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy National Be Someone Day!
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com, and be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
Test. Hello there. Pick up your bags off the sidewalk. Don't you hear sincerity in my voice when I talk? Told you this was my fault. Look me in the eyeball. Next time I'm pissed, I'll aim my fist at the drywall. Next time you don't get on next time. I apologize even though I know it's lies. I guess it's why they call it window pane. Okay. Mic test done. Dice.
Oh, hello. Let's be very clear about one thing. I am not ready. I have to change the background image. I have to turn lights on. And I have to start my main recording in the system. However, I am recording straight into the board. So whatever magic you say now will be recorded on my end as well. So any of that make sense?
Yes. I didn't know if that was like a... Ian, shut up before we even start. Don't say anything. Don't talk about my background. Don't talk about my office. Don't say anything because it won't be recorded.
It was kind of one of those. It was kind of one of those things where it was like, allow me to short circuit any of the ways you're going to make fun of me here.
Exactly.
I understand. I have things to do.
That video is a speed run of somebody doing, I think it's the N64 Rainbow Road on 200cc, and he does the entire thing in like 50 seconds, I think. And
N64 didn't have 200cc, did it?
No, it's on Mario Kart 8, but it's the N64 map.
Okay. I got
one
confused
of the older
for a second because I was like, if we're going N64,
let's get specific.
I could have done some speed runs on the N64. I was into that.
The person in the video is just like on the edge of the track. There are some times where they only have half of two wheels on the track.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's fluke. You can't do that.
You can't do that.
There's no way you can be that accurate. This isn't like a computer or something.
The world of Aaron. Man, what a week, right? You've been along for some of that ride. I've kept you kind of up to date, but Literally from the depths of what, like, if you could have seen me when I got a new board. So I got a brand new board. Thank you. Appreciate that. So when I got this, okay, that's enough of that. When I got this new board, I had some issues, and this was in conjunction with some issues I had with my computers where they just, stopped working. And I don't know what I've talked about in the show and what I haven't, but basically I had two computers have the exact same thing happen where they wouldn't turn on, figured out, I have a bad surge protector. It is frying my computers. Yeah. Thank you, technology, for just absolutely being terrible.
Losing you.
So, and by that I mean the technology, the surge protectors. So when I got this new board, before I had realized that it happened, I had plugged it into the surge protector, and I had thought that it had also damaged the board because I was getting electric interference in my recordings. The SD card wouldn't record, like both internally and externally, it had messed up. Called the tech support. They were like, yep, that sounds like a fried motherboard. That sounds like, they confirmed, yes, your suspicions are probably correct. We will send you a new one. Sent a new one, plugged it in somewhere completely different, plugged it into my laptop, and had the same issue. And if you could have seen my face,
I could feel it in your message.
When I played it back and it was all crackly and distorted, I was done. I was just I literally, I wish somebody had been recording me. I really do, because I was literally sitting here going, I don't understand. What is going on? What is, like, for a solid 10 minutes, I'm just sitting there forlorn, just like, what is happening here? So then I'm like, I don't understand how I fried this board. I don't understand how I fried another one. I checked the internal recording, same issue with the SD card. It'll record fine for a while, and then it'll just start skipping around. And I'm just like, what is going on here? So I go to bed, wake up at 5 a.m. the next morning with a jolt of inspiration. Have you ever woken up with a jolt of inspiration? It's kind of
it's
a
kind of
cool
strange.
thing. It's weird what the brain does. It's like somehow the brain relaxes into this meta state, and then it just solves a problem.
Yeah, it regenerates, and it just comes at it fresh.
It's wild. It's wild
so
stuff.
Crazy.
And so I woke up in the morning, and with this jolt of inspiration, what if every problem is a different problem? This is a real paradigm shift for humans. Humans like causality. We like to think everything is related. And honestly, it should have been related. Everything should have been related. But it was not. It was not. And so I figured out that the problems were completely separate, not only from the electricity issue, they were separate from each other. So the external record was a driver issue. I had been using what's called a Wasapi driver, which doesn't work as well with Adobe Audition as an ASIO driver, which is what I'm used to using from boards that go USB. And so I looked for ASIO drivers for this board, and they had one to download. Downloaded it, fixed it, just like that.
Wow.
Fixed the problem.
That's
so then I was like, what's wrong with the SD card? Oh, you mean this SD card you bought 10 years ago and you found sitting on your kitchen sink? Yeah, maybe it's the actual SD card that's the problem here. Super old, not designed to, keep up with technology or whatever.
Wow.
It may have been more than, literally, that may have been an SD card I bought 20 years ago. Micro SD card. Like literally, I may have bought that for gaming purposes about 20 years ago. So
the intention to record a song that you wrote for a child, but then the SD card failed.
Thank you, Ian. Much appreciated. We love causality. We love patterns. We love the idea that patterns mean something. People know that the number 41 has been meaningful to me since high school, right? Like this is a number that's been in my life. And people who know that are astonished at how often it shows up in my life, right? Like when I waited in line for Chick-fil-A, I was number 41. When I went to American Idol Experience in Disney and won the American Idol Experience, I was contestant 04141. Like these things happen, and people are like, that's magic. And I'm like, pick a number, live the rest of your life thinking of that number. You will see it. You will see it. Your brain will love that pattern. So yeah, it's really interesting.
My favorite way to disprove conspiracy theories is that it's really cynical and it's horrible, but it's the
Are you gonna come off as a jerk here?
No,
Ian?
absolutely
okay.
not.
All right.
No,
all
I
right.
think I'm on the right side of history for this one. It's that most conspiracy theories would
By the way, something you can't know until you're actually on the other side of history.
Fact. Absolute fact. The idea is that most conspiracy theories, in order to work, are so complicated it would need an incredibly adept government in order to pull them off. And just it gives me a lot of comfort because I know how incompetent most governments are, and they're all run by humans. So it would take some incredible levels of organization and agreement. And since we can't agree on some pretty simple fundamentals, I cannot see a government agreeing on a conspiracy to do all of that stuff.
Yeah. It is. We have to operate under trust. We just have to operate under trust, and it's and we have to operate with the assumption that we could always be wrong, and that's okay. But you have to go forward with some level of foundational trust in
science. Poor Hubble. Yeah, I feel bad.
Getting overshadowed by Webb. What are we talking about now?
Literally getting overshadowed by Webb. Hubble's just been plugging away, doing some stuff and lasting forever. And James Webb comes in and is all like, "Look, it's so pretty."
It is so pretty, though.
It is so pretty.
It's amazing.
I remember, I listened to this podcast years and years and years ago, and they were talking about James Webb being built, and they were kind of nitpickers as well, and they went straight to, now this is exciting, but here's what could go wrong. And it's they could get this thing in orbit and the lens doesn't work, or there is a speck of dust on the lens and it throws everything out. We basically won't be able to get up there and fix it. So we need to hope this launch goes well, or else this 10 years of building and stuff is just a huge waste of money. I was I wish I didn't know that.
I find the expanse of the universe really inspiring. And I know it's the opposite for a lot of people, especially a lot of people of faith. A lot of people of faith can find it minimizing. But man, there's something about the expanse of the universe that for me is just this beautiful recursive thing, because you can go the other way too. You can go big, you can go small, right? You start going small within, atoms and those kind of things. And they operate so similarly to solar systems and galaxies. And it just becomes this beautiful recursive thing. And to me, this speaks to this incredible foundational truth to the universe. Now, where that foundational truth comes from, obviously philosophers have argued, long and hard about all the different possibilities. But there is some sort, I love the idea that the universe itself holds patterns in a way that speak to absolute truth, right? That speak to the idea that there are rules and foundations. And so when I see the expanse of the universe and all those pictures, it just, man, I love it.
It's the fact that most of those rules were decided at the point of the Big Bang. So there's no reason for certain rules to be the way they are. They just are. So under a different environment, gravity would work completely differently. Maybe we could go faster than the speed of light. Maybe time works backwards instead of forwards. It's absolutely wild. And the fact that our solar system's big, then our galaxy's pretty big, and then there's
pretty big.
There's 100 billion galaxies inside the universe, and we don't actually know what's beyond the universe. There could be another universe. It's just that scale we cannot comprehend. Our brains cannot do that at all. Aliens, man, there's got to be out there. There's got to be aliens.
I would think so. I would think so. You would think, just with as expansive as it is, it does offer some interesting paradoxes, though. Right? Because I think there are names for these paradoxes, where if there is intelligent life elsewhere, we are either the most advanced intelligent life to have ever existed, which seems unlikely considering the expanse
statistically,
of things. Statistically,
on its own,
or equally as unlikely that a more advanced intelligence hasn't created AI, hasn't created the singularity, hasn't created, hasn't discovered, interstellar travel. Why haven't these things happened? So either we are alone, which seems unlikely, or we are the most advanced race in the universe, which also seems very unlikely.
Yes, either thing is unlikely. Well, that's all summed up in the Drake equation. Whereas how many solar systems can sustain planets? How many planets can sustain life? How long would that take? And that's your probability of how many other aliens are out there. And I think they redo the calculation pretty regularly, and it's in the millions. Like there should be millions of other life sustaining planets out there. But distance is the biggest thing. Like you can travel faster than light, but you can't travel at the speed of light. So getting past that is probably the biggest thing. And maybe that's just unsurmountable. Maybe they are as advanced as they can possibly get, but they just cannot get to us, and they never will. That's what's a little bit depressing. Is that likely warp travel and time travel will never exist because it should already exist by now.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's kind of the thing.
The scariest thing is the AI self-replicating thing, because at this point, AI should have self-replicated to a point where it fills the universe, because that's exponential. Like that could just keep going and going and going and going.
That's what I'm saying. Saying. If the singularity has happened anywhere in the universe, it would affect us.
Yes.
We should know.
Absolutely. Stars would disappear. They would absolutely just get blocked out.
We would disappear eventually, probably pretty quickly.
That was one of my favorite comments for the James Webb thing. Was somebody on Twitter atted James Webb the telescope and said it's his very, very first picture. And is there some gravitational lensing in there? And the replies were just like, some? Are you kidding? Some? This is the universe. Yeah, there's a little bit of gravitational lensing there making some of the stars wonky. They are 14 billion light years away.
Wow.
I've been in the background of this show for 10 minutes, 13 minutes now, and I've just been listening to Aaron and Ian just wax poetic about all kinds of things. They know I'm here, but I'm just working on other things and letting them just listen to their own selves just talk, and they're fine with it. I would have weighed in, but I'm not invited. I'm not adding myself to the conversation, but, I have shit to do. I'll just work on something else. It's fine. I'm feeling rejected.
So I did my second attempt at painting my nails.
Nice. Come out better this time?
I love it. By the way, it lasts about a month before I feel like it starts to look wonky because there's enough of the nail that's grown out that isn't painted.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I took them off about 5-6 days ago, and I did not feel like myself for those 5 or 6. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. It's like I've kind of akined it to like all of a sudden you're bald for a few days. Like it doesn't really change anything on a fundamental level, but it just feels weird. That's not how you're used to. It doesn't feel like you.
What an amazing thing to find. Like for you personally,
it's weird. It's just it's so interesting. But anyways, I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. I think I was too concerned originally about getting the nail polish to the edges, like all the way to the edges, and because of that, it was pooling in the cuticles, like pooling on the edges, and so that would create some weird bumps and some chips and stuff. So I've stopped worrying about that as much, and now like I can see that I didn't get all the way to the edge, but it looks cleaner like from a distance. So yeah.
Nice. Cleaner from a distance was my nickname at high school.
Oh, nice.
Also, these are conversations you have with your friends when you're like 12. Okay, so what do you guys think about making a Google form that just says get a fucking sticker? Because a long time ago, Ian, you're not going to enjoy this as much. We had these. Actually, Ian, you have one of these.
I do.
Look, I found a old pile. We have to get rid of these. Like we have, this is an old logo now. We don't. This isn't the show anymore.
Just give them out at Sin Week.
I mean, I am getting closer to looking like that guy. Like I am working out now. So.
Are you gonna shave one eyebrow?
No, it's up in the hair. Come on, it's right there.
No, it's shaved. It's shaved.
Welcome to Behind the Sins.
Batten. He's got the battens.
Welcome.
Somebody has a board that makes noises now, and it's not me. Surprise! It's not me.
Is it Aaron Dicer? Is that who it was? Is that who has the buttons?
Here's my question: do you push it for every do?
Yes.
So it can just be one do.
Yeah,
but you go
Yeah, you got to do that with the air horn. Of course you do.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
One sounds really sinister.
So for Ian Whittington, Deneé Hughes, an underused Kumail Nanjiani, and myself, we will see you next week.
Shit.
Happy National Tea Day!
Is it actually?
Is it Thursday, April 21st? Is that right?
Yeah.
It will be not April. No. Certainly won't be April.
No.
July 21st.
I don't know why it showed me April 21st, but it did. I guess that's the last time.
My favorite part, Ian, is that you literally had nothing to do for the last 5 minutes.
I had so much time.
You had so much time.